how long was it from knowing that the Dictators was going to get back together to telling the world that the group was back together?
Well, we hadn't, we weren't active for a while, and I had some business with Scott and Andy. They reached out to me and said, "Well, we got to do this, we got to do that," and I suggested, like, why don't we play? Let's get the original band back together. Let's play. Me, Scott, Andy, and we'll pick a drummer. And from there, like, it just went, to Albert Bouchard. So Albert was like, "I want to be a dictator." And so we kind of got that together. And then, what happened with Scott. So you do know what happened, right?
Yes.
Right. So now it's just the three of us. But for the tour, I mean, when we start playing, we're going to add a guitar player pretty soon.
Yeah. But classic lineup, I say. The classic lineup is back. And it intrigues me to no end that you're probably one of 5 people I can think of that found success in both punk and metal. Because way back when, it was kind of like you're either a punk or you're a metal guy. You couldn't be both. That movie, Heavy Metal Parking Lot, that kind of emphasizes that mentality. As far as I can think about it, it's you, Duff McKagan, Blackie Lawless from Wasp, and that's just about it. Am I missing anyone? Oh yeah, he was in the Dolls for like 6 shows.
Blackie now, no. I know Duff, but when we started, it was always like the punk kids hated the metal kids. There was a serious divide in the genres, and the Dictators were one of those kind of bands that had a metal edge to it all the time. Especially like looking back at it, one point of the lineup, you had members of Twisted Sister and Manowar in the Dictators. Who would have thunk? But we as time went by, the genres kind of melted together. And so I think that what I did really helped that, especially jumping from the Dictators. People go, "How the hell did you do that?" It's just, I don't know, it's just something that happened to me. It wasn't, I wanted to make a heavy band. I'm severely influenced by Cream and Black Sabbath and the Doors and all these guys, and as well as the MC5. And so, basically a heavy guitar player, blues guitar player. And that's what pushed me through multiple genres.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Albert in the fold there, Albert becoming a dictator, because Blue Oyster Cult, when you're from New York, you have a different viewpoint of Blue Oyster Cult. The average person goes, yeah, those are the guys who did Don't Fear the Reaper, Burning for You, Godzilla, etc. And when you're from New York, you go, nope, they've been around a long time. They've had hits a long time. They're doing very well. And my personal opinion is Blue Oyster Cult is much heavier than most people kind of realize.
Oh, Blue Oyster Cult is incredible. I mean, Sandy Perlman, our manager, the guy that discovered the Dictators, had a lot to do with forming that image and the mystique of Blue Oyster Cult. BOC, their music is incredible. I mean, I just listened to it. Well, I listened to BOC a lot. Not that I'm in a band with Albert, but I mean, because I was in Brain Surgeons with him and had that thing together. But no, the BOC is an incredible band.
Dictators being back, I believe 2 songs are already out. You have plans for another one to come out in 2 or 3 months, another one 2 or 3 months after that. That's very interesting that you're taking the singles approach rather than albums.
Yeah, I mean, because we're not built right now for an album. We recorded 4 tunes. We have 4 recorded, 2 are out. So we're going to release 2 more. But we had a songwriting session, and we have a lot of candidates for new songs. I contributed a great new song, a great new riff. I mean, everyone really, when I played it, it was like everyone went, yeah, I got the eyes lifted in the room, when I played this thing. So we got a lot of things going. We have a great, we're building a great thing. We're letting people know we're back. We don't want to come on like gangbusters. We want, because, listen, we've been around and people are taking to it. People are adjusting to the fact that, a few members are not going to be there. And, so that's just the way it is, and, but you can't deny the music. You just can't. You can't deny the recordings.
Right.
So, I'm extremely proud of those 2 recordings, and they sound phenomenal. And what can I say? And Andy is taking charge. Andy's totally energized, and it's great seeing him like that. And only more goodness is coming down the pike. I'm telling you.
When a band starts to be called influential and those kinds of terms, a lot of people are taken aback because they feel like that's nostalgia. That's not talking about the future and the great new material. Are you comfortable with being called influential at this point in your career?
Well, there's no doubt about it that the Dictators were a band that predated the Ramones by a year.
Yeah.
And the Ramones being really influenced by us, and you can really tell, they grabbed a lot from us. There's a very big correlation to both bands.
Mm-hmm.
We're from Bronx, they're from Queens. We both did California Sun on our first record, and it's just the two locally grown bands, the city actually spawned 2 bands. So
2 bands with Jewish members that like professional wrestling.
Of course, and we became really great friends with them, and Joey was a great friend of the Dictators. Great till he died. Andy wrote songs with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the room when he passed, Joey, and it was very sad. But he was a great guy, Joey Ramone. All of them were.
So going back to the Dictators, that is reopened for business. That's wonderful. Is the chapter totally closed on Manowar in that part of your career?
Manowar? I did, I'm never gonna go back to Manowar, but I have my own career in heavy metal. Ross the Boss Band. I just released my 4th record on AFM, March 6th, 2020. Just right when the shit, we were going to go to Europe for a massive tour, a headline tour, and the shit show hit.
Yeah.
So it sidelined a lot of things, but we're going back. We're supposed to go to Russia July 3rd for a festival, and and I have another band. The Ross the Boss Band is killer. We've played in many shows. I have another metal band called Death Dealer, and that's with my friends Sean Peck and Stu Marshall from Sydney, Australia. And I got Mike LaPond and my drummer in Death Dealer. So 3/5 of Ross the Boss Band is in Death Dealer. So it's a kind of a family-like a thing. So when everything starts to play again, I'm going to be extremely busy. I mean, extremely busy between the Dictators, RTB, and Death Dealer. Extremely busy. Death Dealer released the third record last November 18th. So, I don't stop. I don't take a day off. I work every day here. I do music at night. Thank God I have my batting cage, and it's amazing. It's just. I don't need. Some people go, how can you work so hard? I go, for me, it's natural. Being a workaholic, that's just what I am.
Were you that way 30 years ago, or did you just have an awakening of that you needed to hustle at a certain point in your life?
I was always had record contracts, always was in doing something, and but no, not like this, not like the way I am now. I'm just, my musical output is insane. It's out of control, insane, but it's good, and this was the artwork of my record.
Wow, that is detail oriented.
Yeah, that's Born of Fire.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it sounds like, as a guy who's always working, not just living in the past, that you're optimistic about things in the future. And I say that because a lot of the people I speak with go, well, there used to be record contracts and there used to be advances and there used to be ... And that's not the vibe I'm getting from you as a guy that is juggling 3 bands while also having other businesses.
Yes, I'm extremely optimistic. We just had a concert here in New York City yesterday.
Yes.
And it was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed. It's beautiful. You know, people want to go. People want to go to the shows. People want to rock out, and people have had it with the rules. I could tell you that. People have had it enough. You know, so we saw the crowd was packed. So did you see the pictures?
Yes, I saw the pictures on Facebook. I never knew Madball had that many fans in the US. When seeing the concerts that they always did in Europe, that's what it always looked like. But it looked like a European festival in Tompkins Square Park.
Right. What was the other band too? The Murphy's Law?
I think it was Murphy's Law and Madball.
And there you go. Murphy's Law would draw a big crowd. Who's my friends? So, I mean, look, let's face facts. People want to rock and roll. People have had it, you know, and with the vaccine, without the vaccine, I don't know what's going on with that. But all I know is rock and roll has to go, and it's gonna.
Well, I got 2 more quick questions for you if you got a second here, and then you're a free man.
Anything, my friend, anything. You could ask me anything.
Okay, and the first one, Ross Friedman, were you bar mitzvahed?
Yes, I was.
Okay. You see, one of the intriguing things, I wanted to find out if you had any details about that. But well, in a second, the reason, because I want to share some of this on the Jewish Journal, if that's okay. But it intrigues me how so many influential punk bands had at least one Jewish member, but probably in that era, everyone was kind of going, I'm not Jewish. Nope. They're kind of quiet about it. And now in retrospect, you go, well, Joey Ramone was Jeffrey Hyman, et cetera, et cetera.
We had the Dictators. We were all Jewish kids from the Bronx. Andy being the only one from Malba, Queens. You know, that's why we chose different names from our first record. You know, like Ross Friedman, Ross the Boss, yes.
Yeah.
Scott Top 10, yes. You know, Manitoba, Handsome Dick. You know, Andy Agnew. You know, we felt a little bit. I don't know, kind of like about our names, about, you know, we were really cool enough, like Donald Rozier. Donald Rozier was Buck Dharma.
Yeah.
You know, Manny Bloom, Eric Bloom, Manny, I think, yeah, he changed his name too. So
yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time someone changed their name.
Milton Berle and George Burns and, you know, comedy too.
Tony Curtis and, you know, it's a time-honored tradition of Jewish people changing their names.
And then eventually coming back to it. But you were bar mitzvahed in the Bronx?
Yep. I was bar mitzvahed at where my father was bar mitzvahed off the Grand Concourse, Jacob Schiff Center on Valentine Avenue, right off Fordham Road.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good food around there.
Yeah. We had Big Burger and we had Needix, who's there's a hot dog stand right on the corner there, was just amazing. And but it was, you know, my bar mitzvah. I did the whole thing. I mean, you know, I made my family proud. I really did. And it was in the same place where my father got bar mitzvah. And there's a bit of trivia to my father. My father's name is James John Walker Friedman, because his godfather, believe it or not, was the mayor of New York, Jimmy Walker.
Wow.
Yeah, because my grandfather, my grandpop Gene Friedman, came over from Hungary in 1908 and was a small Jewish boxer. He was a boxer. So he boxed his way off the country, but his profession was tailor. He was a tailor, a professional tailor. And he met Jimmy Walker, and he became Mayor Walker's personal tailor.
Wow. The other Jimmy Walker.
If you ever look at pictures of Mayor Walker, how dapper he was. What a dapper crook he was. And the thing is about when my father got bar mitzvah, the mayor came to the bar mitzvah, and it was like the biggest thing that ever happened back then. And so that's a bit of trivia about my father and the mayor of New York.
That is fantastic. And my last question, that one set the bar high. My last question is, what is Ross the Boss's favorite TV show of the moment?
My favorite TV show?
Sure.
When I have time to actually watch it?
Yeah.
I got to tell you something. I am, my family thinks I'm a Neanderthal. They really think I'm a Neanderthal. I don't listen to music. I don't listen. Oh, don't you know that TV show? Don't you know? I don't know anything, because when I get home, I play guitar. So I'm really not into TV shows, as it were. I don't know. What are some good ones? I don't know.
It's a golden age of television. So then I'll ask one more question as the bonus.
I'll go to the oldies and watch the Abbott and Costello and Three Stooges and all the stuff that I grew up on. I love watching that. You know, all the stuff that I grew up on. Dick Van Dyke Show, Red Skelton Hour, Andy Griffith, Andy Mayberry, Beverly Hillbillies. You know, that stuff was like unbelievable. Beverly Hillbillies was great. Old wrestling stuff. You know, new stuff, not so much.
Oh, well, then the follow-up question was going to be, is there any relation between Ross Friedman and Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF?
No.
Not that we know of. Well, Ross, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the great music and looking forward to everything that's coming up from you soon.
Thank you. It's all good on my end. I'm telling you, I feel great, healthy. No problems here, man.
Paltrocast.